The Giants are currently trying to get themselves out of a bad quarterback situation, and it seems like Giants fans just want to throw themselves back into another one. Now, usually I have that nice music over my intro, but somebody decided to try to copyright me and try to claim the rights to a song that is not there. So I'm currently working with YouTube right now to fix that issue, but for now, the intro music, it's not going to be there. This video is being sponsored by BetUS. Make sure you guys check out their amazing promotion. Just enter YouTube 150 on BetUS.com for a 150% bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. One of the best promotions you'll ever find on any sportsbook out there. Make sure you guys check out BetUS, and thank you to them for sponsoring this video. And let's get back to it. But what's going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. And after that disgusting loss that we had to endure as a fan base against the Washington Commanders, we're now hearing news that Bryce Young has been benched for Andy Dalton. Now, if there's one team that is worse than the Giants are right now, it is the Carolina Panthers. And man, going to Germany with these two teams facing off against each other, what a treat. It's almost like America is still making Germany pay their reparations. But how is Bryce Young, former first-round pick, being benched for Andy Dalton have anything to do with the Giants? Well, Giants fans, I don't really know what to really call it. Some sort of Stockholm syndrome where you really just throw yourselves in the same situation over and over again because you don't know any better. Think it's for the best, but you're just throwing yourselves in the same situation you were in prior. It's almost like trying to date somebody that you know is bad news, is a bad problem, but you just want to see how it goes, like the I can change her or I can change him mentality. Saying those words while all the while you're the one that needs changing first before you can try to change anybody. That's where the Giants are right now and the fan base. They think that taking Bryce Young into the Giants will change Bryce Young. They're gonna make him a better quarterback. Because after all, look at all the success that he had in college back in the Bama days. Former first overall pick. It almost seems pretty familiar. Like the Giants drafted a 7th overall pick tackle out of Alabama and found a way to destroy his career. But somehow, the Giants are the team that is going to change Bryce Young. The Giants are that team. This is coming from the same people in the fan base that are constantly crapping on the organization for how they run things. And listen, deservingly so. This fan base, this organization deserves all the heat that they're getting because we've been in a different level of suck these past couple of, probably a decade now, where mix in a couple playoff appearances here and there. But like I said, a different level of suck. We have been one of the worst organizations as far as a win-to-loss record in the entire NFL for years now. And I don't know where this all came from, that now this organization is capable of not just taking a first overall pick that didn't work out with the Carolina Panthers, but taking a guy that seemed like he's a whole different quarterback and that we have to try to change and fix our quarterback problems with a guy who is giving a organization quarterback problems. I get it. Bryce Young, if you watch him on film, there is a lot that goes wrong with that offense that is not his fault. They have one of the worst makeups of an offense that you can see on an NFL roster. The weapons are not great. The offensive line is not good. He's now in his second offensive scheme in just 2 years. Bryce Young is definitely not as bad as the offense makes him out to be, but it doesn't mean he's great either. Now, I was a fan of him coming out of Alabama. On this channel, it's on record, I felt like CJ Stroud was the better quarterback, and I was correct. CJ Stroud took that Houston Texans offense that really hasn't changed very much since his time before he was on the team to after it. It was just CJ Stroud. You plug in CJ Stroud, he just makes things work, and he's been making it work since he's been there. And listen, like I said, this is some sort of syndrome that the Giants are going through right now because they're in full desperation mode. As soon as you hear a little whisper of a veteran quarterback or a quarterback that's already been drafted into the league be put on the trade block, Giants fans are just ready to pounce on it. I get it. I want to get rid of Jones as much as the next guy, but you cannot rush this sort of process. Doesn't mean to really take your time and be sweet with it either. We saw the same thing with Deshaun Watson when he was on the trade block with the Texans, and there were Giants fans, all right? I am old enough to know, I've been on here a while, there are Giants fans that were willing to give up multiple first-round picks for Deshaun Watson and pay him that contract, and I don't know if they would still be on board with that fully guaranteed contract, but look what Cleveland is going through right now because they drank the Kool-Aid on Deshaun Watson after his situation. Then you look at Justin Fields. Now, the Fields situation is a lot more fathomable. It's a lot more easier to stomach because Fields is sort of like a bridge quarterback. You're not going to pay too much for him. He's going to be on your roster, sort of like what the Steelers are doing right now where they got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and they're just trying to battle it out to see one day the Steelers draft a quarterback later on. I don't really think they depend on any of those two guys being their future. So I can understand the Justin Fields situation, but here is the problem with getting a highly touted quarterback like that and trying to make it work better at your franchise than it did in the previous one. Getting a guy like Bryce Young, you may be able to buy low. Now, he is a first overall pick in his second season. If any of you think that you're going to get him for less than a fourth rounder or a third rounder, you're out of your mind because first round picks, not only just first round picks, a first overall quarterback. Doesn't matter if he threw 27 interceptions in his rookie year and 0 touchdowns, he's going to get something out of him. For those of you think that the Carolina Panthers are going to sell him quickly after 1 year for a 5th rounder and a 7th, you're out of your mind. This man is at least going to demand a 2nd or 3rd round pick plus a late round pick on top of that. The Giants are in a position right now where they need as much picks as they can get. First of all, in the first round, they should really focus on getting a quarterback. You do not want to give up a 2nd round pick for Bryce Young and then spend another 1st round pick on a quarterback. You don't want to do that. That is not good for team building whatsoever. On top of that, if you bring in a guy like Bryce Young for a 2nd or 3rd round pick, what are your thoughts on why they would bring him in for that high of a price? Because that is a high price for a quarterback to bring in here. You're not just trying to test him out. I'm arguing with everybody on Twitter, and you're not just trying to test him out. See how good he is. No, you're going to try to build around him. Try to do what Carolina couldn't. That is going to take a number of years. He's still on his rookie contract. Why wouldn't you try to devote that? And if the Giants try to do that, that is their way of trying to get a franchise quarterback on the cheap. Trying to get a franchise quarterback for a 2nd or 3rd round pick. They are not going to go in the 1st round next year and get a quarterback if they paid a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Bryce Young. That is guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. For those of you that think that you're going to get Bryce Young and then draft Cam Ward or something in the 1st round, you're out of your mind. What happens with these project quarterbacks or really good quarterbacks that just didn't work out at a certain organization, they're going to try to bring in that quarterback and make that quarterback their franchise guy. They're going to build around him. They're going to see what he has, and that's going to take a couple of years. And for those of you that want to get rid of Brian Daboll, he would probably stay. And we don't even know if Brian Daboll loves Bryce Young. We don't even know if that's his type of quarterback. And I'll be honest with you guys, as a short king myself, as a guy who always roots for the shorter players out there and overcoming adversity, I'm sorry. I don't know if Bryce Young is tall enough to be in the NFL. I don't know. He's 5'10", 204. Okay, that is tiny to play the quarterback position at the NFL level. I know guys like Drew Brees were able to do it. Russell Wilson at 5'11". I get it. But there's also the stature and the weight as well. 204 is very small, very skinny. he's small. Kyler Murray's out there, but he's stocky, right? I don't know if Bryce Young is a quarterback that offensive coordinators or head coaches are just drooling over to bring in, because there is a liability there of, can this guy stay in the pocket and make throws? Can he see over the line? And is he going to be able to sustain certain hits? Is he going to be able to sustain, being, thrown around in the pocket? I mean, if you look at the numbers, just last year I found this article on ESPN that Bryce Young average time to throw is 2.89 seconds, which is 10th longest in the NFL. And when he's blitzed, he throws the ball 2.84 seconds, which is 6th longest in the NFL. Not great. And yes, he doesn't have the greatest wide receiving core around him, doesn't have the greatest supporting cast, but he also put up a 9.3% off-target rate to open receivers when he throws the ball. He hasn't been very accurate. And this is a quarterback that put up 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions last year in his rookie year. Very similar to what Daniel Jones did in like 2022, or one of those years he put up exactly like 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. In fact, it happened in 2020. So the fact that Giants fans, the same ones that hate Daniel Jones, that want to replace him so bad, want to throw in Bryce Young and see what he has, even though he's been on a Daniel Jones type decline or a Daniel Jones type trend in his career by the numbers. On top of that, talk about getting flustered, talk about having bad quarterback play. He was sacked 62 times. Now, as far as the number of how much of them were his fault, I cannot find right now, but 62 times is a lot of times, and I guarantee you it is not just the offensive line. On top of that, having 46 thrown away passes. 46. To give you a comparison, Daniel Jones hasn't had more than 24 in one season in his entire career. Even by the numbers, Bryce Young doesn't seem like a quarterback that the Giants would want to get, but the fans want anything. I don't understand why they complain about this situation that we're in with Daniel Jones, and they want to throw themselves back into another situation because they liked how Bryce Young played at college. In college, they think they can get the same thing out of him from Alabama. Listen, it happens to a lot of not just quarterbacks, just players in the NFL. How many first round picks really hit per year? How many first round picks end up as busts? A lot of them just cannot adapt to the NFL. I don't know if that is the case for Bryce Young, but I don't want to be the team that answers that question. If I'm the Giants, I'm going to go into this year, play out this year, and I'm going to draft me a quarterback, whether I have to get a new regime in here, a new head coach in here, whatever the case is. I do not want damaged goods. I'm sorry, I don't want the potential Cinderella story of how it worked out with the Giants. I don't care about that. I want to go out, do it the right way, spend the first round pick on a franchise quarterback. I will not try to cut corners and try to get a franchise quarterback on the cheap, because more often than not, it really doesn't work. So I'm getting a little bit impatient. I know a lot of Giants fans are too, but they turn their impatience to desperation. I'm turning my impatience to calculated moves, okay? I'm going to calculate moves, if I'm the GM, to get myself back on track. I'm not just going to keep, as a lot of people say, keep throwing darts at the wall. You can do that with other positions, running backs, wide receivers, cornerbacks, defensive ends. You don't do that with quarterbacks, okay? I know the whole Josh Allen and Kyler Murray thing, that is understandable because they went in the draft and didn't cut corners and did what they have to do instead of getting a guy that is most likely going to bust with a franchise and thinking that you're the team that is going to change them. It's not the Giants, bottom line. The Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants are neck and neck of who is the worst team in the NFL. Bottom line, I don't care if the offense looks better than the Carolina Panthers. We may be better in every position than the Carolina Panthers is, but that does not mean we are the franchise that is going to take Bryce Young to the promised land, or Bryce Young is going to take us to the promised land. I don't want to be the team that answers that question. I don't care if it winds up working out. I'm not taking the risk. That being said, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the Giants should actually trade for Bryce Young? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be cheap. He's a number 1 overall pick last year in the first round, obviously. 1 year in, you're not getting him for cheap. Second or third round pick, at least that. And with that, the Giants are not going to get a quarterback in the draft, at least a really good one, a top quarterback, if they've got Bryce Young. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to spend that much capital in one draft on the quarterback position. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.